What happens when we become aware that our attitudes don't match with our action? Then there is a tussle in mind, a dissonance, an unpleasant act, and this leads to stereotypes, this leads to discrimination or prejudice. Stereotype is an overgeneralized behavior. Ethnocentrism, we can say, is also related to it, where you develop a certain strong feeling against a group or a culture. Okay, this is where you try to judge others. So that is called as stereotype. The next is prejudice. Prejudice is a negative attitude. Stereotypes can be positive or negative. When I say Asians are good at maths, that's again a stereotype, but it is a positive stereotype. Prejudice are unserved attitudes and therefore usually negative. And ethnocentrism boosts the idea of prejudice. And then you take action, you behave in a certain manner that you are part of that prejudice, or you strongly ally to that prejudice, you are in favor of that prejudice, and that is what is known as discrimination. So stereotypes are basic beliefs about certain group, certain community. They can be positive, they can be neutral, they can be negative. They can be based on gender, ethnicity, occupation, or any other thing. And people may stereotype sometimes women, for example, as nurturing, or women as bad drivers. And on the other end, there can be a positive, this was a positive example, so there can be a negative example where people say that yes, the people who sell used cars are dishonest. So there are various ways under which stereotypes are explained. Lippmann was the first who explained the concept of stereotype and this whole virtual generalization about the beliefs. So Young explained the definition of stereotype as a false classificatory concept. So this was called as a false classificatory concept. However, prejudice was considered as an effective component. So when we say ABC of psychology, we can remember it as that ABC: affection, behavior, and cognition. Okay, so affective, cognitive, and behavioral aspect. So discrimination is your behavior, so it's governed by your behavior, it's a behavioral aspect. Prejudice is the affective aspect, and stereotype is the belief, so it is the cognitive aspect. So ABC of psychology, as we say, so affective, behavior, and cognitive. Cognitive deals with thought, with understanding. So cognition is a stereotype, behavior is discrimination, and attitude is a prejudice. The next is stereotypes over a period of time become much more stable in nature. People perceive that this is the expectation and this must be met. Any thing which is about a particular group, if you have a stereotype about that group and you listen it from someone else as well, your stereotype would get further reinforced. And also there can be instances where you continuously recall those stereotypes. Okay, so there is very much clarity about this thing. The next is functions of a stereotype. The function is it allows people to quickly process new information about an event or a person, organize your past experiences, also make predictions about others. So since you are a stereotype, you have certain belief. There is an Asian student who works in the class, you would have a stereotype, good at maths. Okay, probably the person is good at maths or not, we don't know, but there is a prediction you start to do because you have a belief that this group or this community is good at maths. This is also sometimes based on your past experiences, so it helps to process your new information and also help you assess the difference between the individual and the group. There are various reasons for stereotype formation. For example, there can be lack of knowledge because you do not know about the things. There is no information. There is frustration. There are certain traditional bondages. There is lack of relationship, lack of contact, prestige issues are there, some bad experiences have been there in your life. All of those are some of the reasons that affect the stereotype formation. There are two kinds of stereotype. One is the individualistic stereotype that you develop on your own because you believe this should be the reason. The other is a societal stereotype which walks in through generations. Your parents believe it, your grandparents believe it, and therefore you also believe it. The next is, what are advantages of stereotype? Advantages is it provides a direction to the human behavior. Human behavior gets a direction, what to do, how to work forward, control the behavior, and also help in propaganda. So stereotypes help in various ways. They do have their advantages because once you have a stereotype, let's say there is a stereotype, Asians are good at maths, so probably if you are a university owner, you are a vice chancellor, you would hire more candidates from Asia. So it might affect your behavior. It might give you a direction in which to go. That could be good or bad, so we cannot comment on it right now. But it provides a direction to the person how to move forward, what to work, what not to work. So there are reasons which are there for stereotypes. Stereotypes do have their hidden advantages as well. The next